Competition and innovation go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly. So when there is no competition, there is no innovation. For example, Apple, what are they doing with the iPhone? They are doing these micro improvements and not really having substantial innovations whenever it comes to the next phone. On the consumer side of things, we see that, and I think we're starting to get into a shift in how we want our products to be when it gets to the next iteration or the next variation. And this really just leads me back to what's going on with Xbox and what's going on with, well, not really what's going on with PlayStation, but what could happen if PlayStation becomes the only corner of the console market. That's PlayStation cursing me. If PlayStation only becomes the corner in the market, if Xbox stops making hardware. Now, none of this is confirmed. Xbox did come out and say that, hey, we're still making our next generation console. And, I hope that's true. Because at this point, I mean, it was at one point in time when Game Pass was one of the cheapest things to get in gaming, and now it's something that just doesn't bring any value to consumers. It's expensive, and you just have better options out there. So the thing is, going back to the example from earlier, if let's say there was a situation where something had occurred, more economic instability happens at Xbox and Microsoft. Keep in mind, they're one big company. So let's say hardware does get out of the conversation and software becomes the main driver. How would consumers live in a world with no Xbox? You'd just be stuck with PlayStation at that point. I mean, Nintendo, you could go that route. You'd probably get sued just for inviting your friend to a Discord chat, but PlayStation would be the best bet to go outside of buying a PC. And PlayStation, I haven't had an issue with them. There might have been one or three hiccups in the past 10 years that I've played on PlayStation. My first one was it was a PS2, but the first one I actually put time into was a PS4. And I haven't had an issue with PlayStation. Now, if PlayStation becomes something similar to what Apple is right now, then we could really be in a field of trouble because, as the old saying goes, competition drives innovation and improvements and trying to one up each other. There's so much benefit from having some sense of competition within a market, and it's a huge net positive for everyone. But another example would be Call of Duty. Call of Duty felt like, oh, we could just release another game and we'll be cool. 2K's doing it. 2K's doing it and they're still making their profits. Hey, let's do the same thing. And now that kind of nailed them to the point where they had to take away skill-based matchmaking. And that was because skill-based matchmaking and Battlefield 6, a sense of competition coming back into the market. And I think people really underestimate how much power we have as a consumer. But at the same time, it doesn't take one person to make a substantial change on the consumer side of things. It takes a group of us to say, stay over there. Like, we have to band together just to make something happen. So if PlayStation becomes the corner of the market, I'm really hoping that things would be okay, but at the same time, you shouldn't be crossing your fingers. You should be hoping that the product that you're investing into is constantly trying to improve upon itself to give the consumers the best experience possible. That's just what I want to lay out. I'm really hoping PlayStation doesn't take that route, but with the way things are, with what history has shown us so far from huge companies that have got, even, I don't even want to say their name, even the people that make magical movies with, you know, deer and superheroes with red suits and a big eye on their chest, racing movies that are family friendly, you know, that kind of company that makes those kind of movies that invest millions into certain IPs, and the millions like go straight to the trash, the fire dumpster, the nether realm at that point. Even those, look at PlayStation trying to call me, even those companies aren't giving the consumer exactly what they want. They have it. They have the bread, they have the precious, but they don't have the idea. Something is going on. Maybe they're thinking too much into the numbers and they're trying to appease the numbers. Like, that's not gonna help us get the feelings that we want. So Call of Duty, Apple, and the Magical Company, we have seen these things happen in history before. I don't want to see that happen to PlayStation. I love PlayStation. Please don't increase the prices anymore. My God. And then the fact that, what's her name? Is it Sarah Bond? Is that the fact that you tout that, oh, we just made $5 billion, but you still trying to yank money from us? Once again, Xbox is a part of Microsoft. Microsoft is a big company. There's a lot of technological things going on with AI, NVIDIA, all that stuff that they're trying to push for that innovation and make sure money goes towards those types of investments. I kind of get that, but pushing it onto the consumer, that's different.